Welcome back to the news, everybody, where today we've got a fairly silly situation with Overwatch 2. They're taking a bunch of L's that they do not need to. The monetization is absolutely silly. And lost amidst all of this is that there's a really good slice of game right now that actually does bode quite well for what is coming next year. But as is so often the case with Blizzard things, it's never simply just a true easy win. Because with this, people were not necessarily sure of what the event was. There was confusion as to whether it was in fact just the same thing again. People have found out that even though the event itself is pretty fun, actually other parts of it are quite a significant step back, which really does suck. I mean, this is even a quote from the PC Gamer author who was absolutely scathing in their review in progress. Basically, it's the most compelling thing in the event and the first thing in Overwatch 2 that actually feels like sequel material. That is what is being said about the actual video game part of this. But as always with Overwatch 2, while the game may indeed be quite brilliant for many people, as a product, it is a bit shit. Very much unlike today's sponsor. Right, Brilliant.org, they're the best way to improve your prospects and develop yourself, especially in those lucrative fields, all done via their fantastic site and app. And the first 200 to click my link will get 20% off. Now, compared to how I learned, say, computer science in university, their approach is so superior. It is fun, it is interactive, and after playing around with a bunch of AI art tools myself, and thinking about neural nets and all the future-y stuff, I realized that Brilliant's Introduction to Neural Networks course is the ideal way to learn how all that stuff actually works. All through fun, interactive quizzes that are focused around interesting problems, and it is such a refreshing approach. Look, I don't know about you, I have a lot of gaps in my knowledge. I've said this before. It felt like I'd fallen off the wagon a bit with learning and self-development, and I mean, just keeping this thing in good order, you know? Right? When you're too busy to do things that are worth doing, and I regret that. So Brilliant's got me learning again, because with their approach, I'm not sitting there sponging in facts thinking about an exam getting stressed. No, I'm just having topics click. They're visual. So if you're thinking about perhaps your career, then they're definitely the best way to get started in high-paying fields like artificial intelligence and computer science, rather than just, a boring textbook. This is a great way to get started. So I love what they do, and whether you want to learn for yourself or maybe spark a younger mind's journey, because damn, I wish this was here when I was at the age of school. Brilliant.org/Bellular News. Hit that up today. First 200 to click will get 20% off their annual subscription. Well, Matt, this is a really stupid situation. It's weird because, we had fun playing this last night, but even the event itself, people were confused. I mean, the naming is weird. It's called Halloween Terror, but the new mode is called Junkenstein's Revenge: Wrath of the Bride. The original mode was called Junkenstein's Revenge. This actually did end up leading to a decent amount of confusion, especially with Junkenstein actually coming back. And then the weird thing in the UI where I would have assumed that they would put a new box on the very first page instead of it just being in arcade.
Yeah, or even, you go to click play to play the game, and then because it's Halloween, there's an orange play button above that takes you straight to the event. You would hope you would do something like that. That's good UX. But no, instead, they haven't marketed this correctly, so I didn't know there was new gameplay in this whatsoever. With whatever I was reading, I had assumed it was just Junkenstein's Revenge back. I was like, cool, good event, morons. And it turns out I was wrong. And then once I found my way into the game, I do remember literally having to ask you, where the hell is it? How do I get to this? And it was, like Tyler said, I completely agree. It's like, oh, this is the Left 4 Dead Vermintide kind of exactly what you could do in a co-op shooter. Holy shit.
Yeah, and that actually bodes well to a little bit of PvE. And
Yeah.
I can bring that into some things we've heard about what PvP was originally scoped as, which itself is kind of responsible for Overwatch 2 PvP essentially being thrown together in a year. It's kind of wild. But to go into the thing that's got people, though, it's the monetization. So the way that this used to work, right, is the event would happen, and there would be some new skins and, other items. During the event, whenever you would level up in the game, you would earn a loot box, but it would be an event loot box. So that's the way that it worked. And it meant that free-to-play players, if they were, decently dedicated, they would be able to at least earn some of the new stuff, have a decent chance at legendary skin. And because of the way the game ended up working, if you get dupes of a legendary, those got turned into credits, and then you could even just hard buy, like outright buy, the skin you wanted with those credits, although doing that for event skins was a really expensive thing. But the core thing is, people felt like they could go in, they could play the event, whatever, and actually get some stuff. Now, there are rewards, right? There are rewards this time around, but it is pretty sucky. And also, the way that it did work is every time a year would add a new skin or something, those would just be put into this ever-expanding pool of skins that you could get from the event boxes. Now, the monetization there was obviously Blizzard just wanted people to drop a bunch of money in, like, buying 40 event loot boxes, but at least the free players could actually get something. And that is when we get into how somehow Blizzard have managed to make this event system worse and, like, feel worse than even Halo Infinite, which is quite impressive. Now, that said, you can actually get some stuff for free. Even a legendary skin, but that's not from gameplay.
No.
It's from Twitch drops. Because we want to get all of that artificial engagement that's possible, right?
That's the part that's really frustrating. If they had given away this skin in game, they'd have saved themselves so much bullshit and so much of actual players being the problem. But of course you see where their priorities lie here. Their priorities lie in getting actual engagement on Twitch so they can puff up their Twitch numbers whenever they need to have an investor call or like set up a IL2 or I2L, whatever they're going to call it, and then obviously just monetization in the game. So they're going to sell skins or give them to you for doing anything except actually enjoying the game. Brilliant.
Yeah, and if you are just going there and enjoying the game, the things that they are giving you for this are kind of pitiful and a joke. Yeah. It is entirely a situation where friggin' gacha games have got this stuff down so much better than Blizzard do, and it's really, really funny. So now, all of those skins are just in the shop. So literally last year, things you were getting in the loot boxes you earned just by playing the game, they are now all in the shop to purchase with Overwatch currency, right? I mean, look at this. Overwatch, all skins are free, cosmetics discounted after they've been out for a year, new event adds up to 7 new legendary skins and 3 epic ones. There's a look at the skins. Overwatch 2. Old event skins cost money. Boy, howdy they do. Cosmetic skins now cost more, including the Overwatch League tokens. Events now only add 3 new skins, no free skins. And that, like, you know, this thing this Redditor put together, like, it is literally true. And that is why people are absolutely lambasting this.
Yeah.
Because previously, those rewards were achievable with FOMO-driven monetization that did suck and was scummy, and that everybody did complain about at the time. But now it has actually got worse. I mean, we've even got this. Remember when the game was rewarding to play? Mm-hmm. Free $40. Free $40. Deleted by moderators. Ha!
Yeah. Oh, speaking of deleted by moderators, did you know that the Overwatch subreddit has currently, at least there's probably more now, but as of yesterday, there were 2 posts that I saw that were deleted by the mods. I know what those posts were, Michael.
What?
They were posts saying the actual marketing and shop tactics of what Activision Blizzard are currently doing in the Overwatch store are literally illegal in these countries. Here's who you need to speak to get this reported. And the mods are like, nope, that's a witch hunt, deleted.
Day in the life of being the highest tier of human on Earth, professional Reddit mod.
Yeah, so like that's another part of this. There's the stuff in the store is permanently discounted in the way that everyone knows that's not a tactic you're allowed to use in most of the world anymore. You're not allowed to say, hey, this thing is, I think it was the Witch Care bundle.
Yeah.
Is discounted by like 20 or 30 or something %. But the sale is basically on the whole time. And you can't buy it at full price. So it's not a sale. It's just literally doing illegal marketing. The legal marketing, that's literally what it is.
Wow.
And then the Overwatch mods are like, sorry, witch hunt, take that.
Do you mean that I can actually put illegal in the video title?
Yeah, you could.
Wow.
You can put Activision Blizzard are using illegal tactics in the title, and you would be literally right.
That is a funny way to be literally right.
Yep.
I suppose you'll know if I did that or not.
Yeah.
And then we can even clown on it compared to other free-to-play games. Now, one game that I have to actually give the credit to is bloody Fortnite.
Oh, you love Fortnite.
Because, like, I fell into that game for a month because I just wanted to see, like, right, what is going on? I've ignored this thing that obviously is pretty big in the market. I actually should know what it is. And what I generally found is, like, their skins are really good. Their customization's really good. You actually just feel like you want to buy the thing because it's cool and you're having fun in the game. It's weird in how, like, it is coercive, like, it is all that stuff, but it doesn't feel super bad. I suppose maybe it's just a thing where, like, the value feels like it's there or something. Whereas, you know, you look at this here. So the Fortnite Zombie Halloween superhero skin, 13 quid, right? £13. But it's one skin with 700 plus customization options. You, of course, can always see your full skin because it's a third-person game, and it comes with a built-in emote and an emoticon. We then look at this Junker Queen skin.
It's pretty nice.
It's nice, but you can use it for one character, and of course, when you're playing the game, you can't really even see the skin.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's that stuff that just feels a little bit daft. And, like, I was going through the pricing. Like, there are so many different bundles. They're just totally doing this so that, like, somebody's going to go in there and just spend, like, 150. Or, you know, just a big lot of money anyway. I don't exactly remember the specifics.
Yeah.
And here's what's hilarious, Matt. Do you remember the Fractured event in Halo Infinite?
Oh, I remember that well, because that was one of the things that broke me. I'm just like, it was after seeing how they handled that event, I was like, nope, I'm never going to take a free-to-play game seriously ever again, because they do not deserve my respect or my time if they do shit like this.
And it was even better than this.
Yeah, and it was better than this, yeah.
The thing with Fractured, it was the one that gave you, like, this sort of samurai armor in Halo. Now, everybody looked at it and thought, oh, cool, I can get that. But actually, you could only get half of the samurai armor because of the way that they rewarded you with the event points, where their whole thing was they would actually have the event, like, happen a few times during the season. So in order to get the full set, you would have to play the event twice. But at the very least, a free-to-play player would actually get the big new skin that the event is kind of marketed off.
Took a lot of grinding,
via
but
gameplay. Yeah, it did take grinding, but at least they could earn the thing. You know, you look at some of the events in, like, Apex Legends, and yeah, maybe just more of a palette swap skin, but at least, like, there is a skin in there. When you actually try to work out, like, what the hell do I even get for this event? What you actually have to do is you have to go into the challenges menu and then go into event, and then you can see the things. And it's just like voice lines, like emotes, sprays, and a small dusting of Battle Pass experience. That's it. That's it. So this is clearly it's another great example of, like, this is great as a game, and we'll talk about it and the time that we had playing it. It's like, yeah, great as a game, but as a product, holy shit, it's so misjudged. And then, of course, you remember you earn, like, what, 60 Overwatch points a week? You know, so that's what's really awkward, and I think makes it feel bad. I mean, you buy the... Oh, man. So you buy the Battle Pass. Now, in lots of other games, buying the Battle Pass and then basically being a big sweaty grinder would actually have you unlocking enough premium currency to get the Battle Pass again when it next comes up.
Yeah, there's a kind of, oh, well, now you're kind of indentured servitude in a little bit of a way, but that was always the part where people can engage that freely and go, yeah, well, at least I can earn my next Battle Pass, so I can play this game. If I'm going to be religiously playing this game, like they want me to, I'm at least not going to be asked to pay for it.
Yeah. So Overwatch doesn't do that. Instead, what it does is it gives you enough Overwatch points to get you every second Battle Pass by just doing your weekly challenges. But the problem is that because that's the same currency that's used for these skins, it makes your progress as a free-to-play player feel so minuscule because you're earning 60 points when a bundle might be 2,500. That's like 60 points a week. So they've just orchestrated all of this in such a way that means it will feel bad to players. What they need to do is something a lot more like Fortnite, where in Fortnite, people actually feel good to go through the Battle Pass and get the things on the Battle Pass because I guess they just feel like it's pretty rewarding. The progression feels reasonable, you know, that sort of thing. Overwatch is just not able to compete. on those grounds. And as an event, again, it's just that thing. Yeah, they had 25 million players in their first however many days for this game, and that is an incredible number. And they're obviously doing a volume play, but the problem with them doing a volume play means that in the past, this happened, right? Like, you could actually get those skins in game. And that's the problem when it's like what Halo Infinite experienced. You transition a game that the core fans would have been paying for anyway. So, for them, money was basically never really a factor. They always would have they always would have purchased the game. And then that means that once they're playing the game that they would have been playing regardless, their experience is worse than it was. And that is the thing when you go free to play. I basically think you actively betray your core audience in order to try to get more people in the hope of getting some whales. And ultimately, yeah, they betrayed their core audience, and also, as we've now found out, illegally marketed. Yeah. So that's funny.
Sure is.
So to talk about the mode like as an actual video game, it's what you would expect in that, you have a limited selection of characters, which is of course a good thing, because then that means that they get to, tailor the design of the experience around those characters' kits. So, they do that, and it plays out like a miniature Left 4 Dead campaign. You have some, moving through. It's not just an endless kind of horde mode thing. And look, it's really fun. I also like how it's balanced so that, the default mode you can actually fail at. And I think Legendary is the hardest mode. That's the sort of mode where, you would want people on voice comms trying to actually coordinate with each other. So essentially, it's a really good slice of video game.
Yeah, it's like in so many ways. And this isn't just, oh, hey, the game's kind of fun and it's a good event. It's like, you can tell the craftsmanship that went into the event is really good. They even say on before you click play, there's warning jump scares. And they do that really well. There's loads of really cool horror game tropes that they kind of weave in that you actually do atmospherically. It's really good.
Yeah.
And this is something that I tweeted about recently, because I was playing Parasite Eve, a PS1 horror game. As the atmosphere in PS1 games for horror, especially after talking about Silent Hill recently, really, really good. And I was thinking a lot of modern games don't have the sense of atmosphere that's really strong there. And obviously you can kind of get it really well in horror. But I was just moving through Eichenwald, everything was, or whatever it was, everything in German, all of the which give it that little extra kind of, oh, this is foreign. Obviously not to German players, of course, but to us, oh, this is a little bit foreign. You've got everything is dark, everything's spooky. You've got the music coming in. You've got little bits of jump scares. You've got the skins of the enemy heroes feeling really really kind of actually not just being just skins of a hero, but the way they play out as there's loads of echoes in the marionette. There's the brides teleport around the place. There's the unstoppable ghost is this threat you can't stop. And every single part of this is really well considered and really well executed. There's maybe a couple things of maybe it's not super clear to know exactly what to do sometimes. Maybe you have to, but that's the point of having difficulty and difficulty modes and being try again and being short. And I was just every single step, I was I'm really impressed by this. I'm really having a lot of fun. Especially when you've got, like you're saying about the design of the individual heroes coming in. Specifically, I'm this is honestly really good. I'm really happy I played this. I'm really annoyed that they didn't front load all their marketing with, here is a tease of what Overwatch 2 PvE is going to be like, because we've used all of those design elements, all of the design ideas, all of our our toolkit outside of the hero customization. We've got all of that in here. This is what it's going to look like in a year, but with loads of more content. If they'd said that, it would have been fucking just out of the park. That would have been such a massive free win because it owns. But instead, they have let, and this is Blizzard's problem with the narrative, they've let everyone run around and go, there's not that many skins. Or, we're not getting skins for free. And compared to the game part of it, that it should be small. They should be directing people's attentions towards game good. Instead, they're letting people just ruin the narrative of the game on them, basically.
Yeah, it's they just stupidly considered business model. I mean, I wonder if it's converting well based on what their benchmarks were. But as a game, it seems pretty brilliant. Actually, it's really fun. And I guess when that ties into PvE. So with PvE, for every single hero, I think it's 40 talents or something. Or at least this is what it was.
Yeah, it could be different.
It could change. I think there was also some kind of power progression, and the idea was you would have a full campaign. And then you would have, I guess, more styled along the lines of this event, this like actual end game loop, to the degree where people are almost thinking like, whoa, is this going to be like a sort of PvE hero shooter Destiny-ish like experience, which I think undoubtedly would do super, super, super well, and perhaps also be quite ambitious, and maybe that is why Overwatch 2 was definitely taking some time to come out, because from what we understand, the team basically stopped, decided to do the big split, and then got to building this. So, right, it's like this version of Overwatch 2 PvP came together in like maybe a year and a bit of development.
And you can tell.
Obviously, off the bones of things they probably already had. But it does seem like PvE's the main feature. I guess the worry for me, though, is that if this game was a box product, number one, we'd have none of these, or at least a lot fewer of these issues when it comes to how this part of the game is designed, right? Like the monetization, the rewards, and all of that. But also, we would get PvE as a full game. There's a little bit of me that's almost worried that if they launch PvE piecemeal as part of a seasonal model for a live service game,
Which they will, of course.
which of course they're going to, that it won't really come together as good as it should. That's my concern.
Yeah, it's the case of when you have this as an example, if you had a load of these events, it would be good. But what people want is they want, and I'm not saying they need like a big story or like a big super involved narrative or like something like a AAA sort of shooter campaign. But basically through playing it, I kind of got to imagining what it would look like if they went, okay, what does a full 8-hour campaign of this look like? What does a full 20-hour campaign of this look like if we're going a little bit more out of the realm of modern games and back into older stuff? And I was like, that is really good. Because like, how much did people love playing Left 4 Dead over and over again? How much did people love Vermintide? How many people are excited for Darktide? How many jumped into the beta and played? And all of the things that those do right in PvE, you can tell Overwatch 2 does them right as well in that event. So it's like, are they able to give a really big campaign that becomes, hey, this is something you want to do all the goddamn time, and then every so often we'll add another couple hours to it? Or is this going to be a case of, hey, this is a thing you can do between PvP matches, or whenever you don't feel like PvP matches a little bit, because they're dropping them in, and they're dropping them in as bits of content you earn through the battle pass or something like that, or you pay for them pretty chunky otherwise, whole meal. Because it's like you imagine the good timeline, and you'd buy Overwatch 2 for $60, and it would have probably $70, and it would have like a 8 to 10 hour campaign and stuff. You're like, are we going to get that world? Or is the fact that this is a good game and a bad product going to continue? Is it going to continue being a bad product? Is it going to give you these in a really weird piecemeal way and then just ruin the whole experience of it? That's, I think, my big fear. Also, my big fear is that if they go, hey, we need to make these, and they go, okay, fill it full of filler. That's one of the other problems. But it's promising. It's just, will whoever's running Overwatch 2 as a product and as a business model, like I guess a business model instead of a game, are they the ones going to rack it, continue to rack it, or are they going to learn and go, fuck, we need to do something right now?
I mean, per what staff say about Activision's influence. Yeah, it's just that thing, like, will this game succeed in spite of itself? I think this is a situation where the game designers have been utterly betrayed by the people designing the business model of this game.
And even the marketing people now.
And the marketing's been a bit funky too, so... Man, it's a weird old situation. At least the silver lining in this is the actual content itself is really, really, really fun. I think if you were playing this in the harder difficulty with a bunch of your friends on Discord or whatever, I think you'd actually have a really great time. It is well designed. It is good shit, right? It is more of what we want to see. It's just... It has all the problems of being in Overwatch 2, the product. And Overwatch 2, the product, is nowhere near as good as Overwatch 2, the game, which is pretty damn tragic. So there we go. That's it for today. I guess let me know what your experience of this one has been, and I'll see you next time.